Taking a look at the market's picture, I mean, what's your forecast as far as trading activity for the week ahead is concerned?
Well, I think what we saw last week was a political swoon, a peak to trough move about 3.5%. But by Thursday and Friday, we saw buyers stepping in and trying to buy the dip. So I think we have a gradual move back up to this double top at 3,620 on the NSE 20, which is about 70 points away. And that's where we really got to see how the market behaves.
Well,
but really, sorry.
No, continue.
No, I think politics really weighed very heavily. We're in the parade of full year results, which should be what's moving the market. And I think if the political noise dies down, then the results will drive us back up to those levels I'm talking about.
Already we saw the banking segment steal much of the spotlight in last week's trading, with earnings reports out on that end. But on Friday, we saw BOC out with numbers, as I was saying earlier. What was your overall impression of their earnings report?
Well, BOC, I think the market was slightly disappointed. They held the dividend unchanged, which I think will help sentiment. But I think, you know, BOC and Carbacid is a difficult one to analyze right now. I was surprised at the slowdown compared to the previous year, but I've yet to get a clear handle on that particular business. In terms of the banks, which also reported results, I thought those were better than the market expected. I think the banks have been able to make a good deal of money in the bond market, as the government of Kenya has issued so many bonds, and they've had a nice mark-to-market gain on the long end. So I think, you know, you've got the bank sector outperforming market expectations, which frankly are quite low anyway.
If we bring it back to BOC, I mean, we know that for a long time, Carbacid has been a big part of their strategy moving forward. With that failed attempt at a takeover, what's your outlook for the company? Do you see them organically managing to achieve what they had intended with Carbacid in their stable?
I think what's necessary here is some kind of consolidation in order to extract better pricing power. I think, you know, I think that's the key to unlocking this particular Carbacid BOC duality, and I think that's what Carbacid are now seeking to do. And we can clearly see from the results, by being apart, they were not able to get strong pricing on their products. So I think it's absolutely necessary going forward that they do come to some kind of combination, which I think is inevitable given Carbacid's maneuvers.
Well, it is certainly a cutthroat competition within that space. It's not the only arena where competition is kicking. I mean, Zain is planning to relinquish its African assets to Indian Telecom, Bharti Airtel. To what extent do you see this changing the telecoms playing field in Kenya, especially for Safaricom?
Well, I think it's definitely going to change the playing field. I think Zain was very much a irrational competitor 2 years ago. They threw a lot of money at the problem without really a clear strategy. I think the branding of Zain across sub-Saharan Africa was a catastrophic blunder. It was worth tuppence given versus what they spent on it. It had no resonance in Africa. And I think that was a decision driven out of head office in Kuwait. But looking at the actual footprint, it's a very powerful footprint across sub-Saharan Africa. I think Bharti Airtel, the one thing they understand is low ARPU markets. Their execution has been practically faultless. So I think that over time, in the next 12 to 24 months, Zain is going to be a completely different beast. And Safaricom will have to meet that challenge head on. I don't think that challenge comes immediately, but it comes within 18 months.
Well, we heard reports on Friday saying that, you know, it's this competitive environment that's pushing Safaricom towards looking at data service provision more intently, and the mobile banking segment to actually maintain its edge in the telecoms market. This had always been a part of Safaricom's strategy, though. So are we seeing them pursue this avenue more aggressively? Is this the suggestion that's out there?
I don't think it's that. I think what's happened is you've seen the revenue numbers start to kick in. You saw that evidence in the 6-month results. I think you're going to see some further evidence in the full year results of this sharp uptick in revenue, in data-related revenues. And I think the market is waking up to this fact. They have been going on about it ad infinitum, but quite often, you know, you need the penny to drop. And I think the penny is beginning to drop now, that these are super growth curves, and Safaricom has got a strong lead in these areas.
Just very, very quickly, I mean, with the company planning to strengthen its grip on the data service segment, I mean, what impact do you see this having on the likes of Access Kenya?
That's a very interesting question, and I think, you know, what you're seeing is they've got a very powerful data product at Safaricom. Access Kenya is more of a niche player, although they went after the SOHO market, but clearly they're going to come under some kind of competitive pressure from Safaricom. Safaricom have blanket coverage across our country. That is a key advantage, and their speeds are fast, and that's and their product is well priced. It's very difficult to go head to head with them, I would have thought.